Any ads heard during this episode that are not in our voice are placed by third-party agencies. They should not be considered the opinion of or to be endorsed by Hoosier Myths and Legends.
Welcome to another episode of the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast.
I'm Rebecca Wilhelm.
I'm Mary Quigley.
And I'm Hope Wilhelm.
Join us as we dive into the spookier side of the Hoosier state.
So what comes to your mind when you think of Indiana? Do you think of corn? Do you think of basketball? Do you think of the Indianapolis 500? Maybe you think of famous celebrities who were born in Indiana, like John Mellencamp or Michael Jackson.
But as the saying goes, there is more than corn in Indiana. 92 counties make up the Hoosier state. In this podcast, we are going to discuss some Indiana folklore from each of these counties. If you are into tall tales, ghosts, or spooky legends, then this is a podcast you are not going to want to miss. The legend we have for you today comes from Marion County, Indiana.
The Indianapolis location that we'll be discussing in today's episode was once a gathering place for Indianapolis' most influential figures, a symbol of prestige and community. But over the years, its legacy has taken a darker turn, shaped by tragedy and a fire so devastating it helped transform how high-rise emergencies are handled across the United States. These days, when the building comes up in conversation, it's not the grandeur that people remember, but the ghost stories. With decades of laughter, celebration, and history echoing through its halls, some believe that the past still lingers. So grab your coffee, settle in, and join us as we uncover the eerie mysteries, ghostly encounters, and chilling legacy tied to one of downtown Indianapolis' most storied and haunted landmarks, the Indianapolis Athletic Club.
Welcome back, listeners.
So this is an episode that may sound familiar to our listeners because we very briefly included the Indianapolis Athletic Club, back in Season 3, Episode 7, and it was part of our Haunted Indianapolis episode.
Yes, it's one of the legends about Indy that really fascinated us, so we had to go back and do a full episode.
So let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay. Well, let's start with the fire that changed everything. This tragedy happened on February 5th, 1992.
Now, investigators would later determine that faulty wiring in a refrigerator located in a third-floor bar likely caused the blaze. But in those first few moments, no one knew what was coming. A 911 call came in at 12:06 a.m., and the Indianapolis Fire Department responded quickly, dispatching 4 engine companies, 2 trucks, and 2 chief officers.
The first unit arrived within about a minute and a half, which is impressive by any standard. But when they got there, nothing looked unusual. Reports from the scene initially said there was nothing showing. No flames, no smoke, just a quiet building in the heart of the city.
But that calm wouldn't last. Around 20 minutes later, after the first few crew members arrived, things took a horrific turn. There was smoke and fire, and it suddenly overtook the 3rd floor, and then chaos followed.
2 Indianapolis firefighters, Corporal Elwood M. Woody Jelinas and Private John J. Lorenzano, and 1 hotel guest, Thomas Mutz, lost their lives that night.
Yeah, and according to some articles I've read, something that I find very sad is that apparently Thomas Mutz was killed while trying to get out of the hotel. He was very close to making it out of the building when fire and smoke came up a stairway, and that's what ended up getting him.
4 more firefighters were seriously injured. It was one of the most tragic events in Indiana's firefighting history.
Now, there is something strange about this night and something I've always found to be interesting. Mary, that same night, 15 jurors who were being sequestered for Mike Tyson's trial were staying on the sixth floor.
Because of that, this fire ended up making the news nationwide. And according to an LA Times article from February 6, 1992, none of the jurors were injured.
Yes, the fire ended up halting the trial the following day, though.
The trial did, however, go on, and on February 10th, 1992, Tyson ended up getting a 6-year prison sentence, but only served 3 due to being paroled.
Now, the aftermath of this tragedy did change the way that fires were handled across the United States. You see, at the time, it wasn't mandatory for firefighters to carry personal radios. So that meant that some of them had no way to communicate with each other once they were inside the burning building.
There was also no standardized training on how to properly use the breathing apparatuses, oxygen masks that could have made all the difference. Even more terrifying, there was no formal policy for how to approach a fire in a high-rise building.
So, because of this tragedy, things did change. Fire departments across the country re examined their safety protocols. Building codes were updated, and the athletic club that was built in 1922, it also had no sprinkler system. And after this fire, that became a major focus.
Today, sprinkler systems are required in multi-story buildings like this one, thanks in part to what happened that night. It's a legacy born from loss, but one that's helped save countless lives since.
Now, the Indianapolis Athletic Club officially closed in 2004, and the building has since been converted into high-end condos. But just because the party stopped and the club shut its doors, it doesn't mean that everyone left.
We'll be back after a short break with some of the legends and lore. Are you an Indiana small business owner looking to reach a wider audience?
Consider partnering with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast directly to advertise your business.
Our listeners are passionate, engaged, and love supporting local businesses just like yours. By advertising with us, you'll connect directly with a community that values what Indiana has to offer.
Promote your business with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast and watch your customer base grow. Ready to make your mark? Contact us today at HoosierMythsandLegends@gmail.com and let's bring your business to the forefront. We're back after a short break.
So it's safe to say that the building's story didn't end when the last guest checked out or the last weight was lifted in the gym. Since its conversion into condos in 2004, residents have continued to report things that just cannot be explained.
Yeah, and if you Google this, there are some crazy stories out there.
There are some residents of the building who claim to wake in the middle of the night to hear the sound of heavy boots pacing the hallways, long after everyone else has gone to bed. Others describe a strange sensation of being watched, even when they're completely alone.
Now, one of the most chilling stories that we came across was from residents who say that they have been jolted awake by the feeling of somebody shaking them on their shoulder.
See, that's creepy.
Oh, I agree. And what's worse is that some of the people who have experienced this, when they wake up, they don't see anyone. However, there's a smell of smoke that's lingering in the air.
Over the years, there have been many reports of people seeing a man in outdated fire gear standing at the foot of their beds. Some residents have heard this figure whisper, "Get out."
Now, what really stands out for me is that it seems like it's not really just one or two stories out there.
I agree. There are many residents of both the hotel and now the condo over the years who have reported similar sightings. There are also those who have reported cold spots that move through the rooms, doors that slam shut on their own, and even televisions turning on and off by themselves.
Yeah, especially on that third floor, there's a lot of reports of electronics just not working. And I think it's interesting that it's always around the anniversary of the fire. There's some who believe it's the spirit of one of the firefighters who died there in 1992.
That would make sense, though, because he may still be trying to do his job, warning people to escape the danger.
Well, whether you believe in ghosts or not, something seems to have been left behind in the walls of the Indianapolis Athletic Club. A presence, a memory, might be a restless soul.
True, and if the stories are true, it seems that even in death, a hero may still be trying to save lives, forever haunted by a fire he couldn't stop.
Yeah, the Indianapolis Athletic Club is a powerful reminder that some places don't just hold memories, they keep them.
Up next on the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast, we're heading to the quiet town of Fortville, Indiana, a place where charm and history go hand in hand.
Tucked just off the main road is a beautiful old home with a reputation for more than just cozy beds and warm breakfasts.
The Ivy House Bed and Breakfast has welcomed guests for decades, but some say not all who check in ever truly leave.
From phantom footsteps on the stairs to mysterious voices echoing through halls, we'll explore the legends and the lingering spirits of this elegant and eerie small-town getaway.
Have you ever lived at the former Indianapolis Athletic Club, visited, or even heard a story about this historic building? We'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email to HoosierMythsandLegends@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. We may use it in a later episode. In the email, let us know if you wish to remain anonymous.
To see our source material, please visit our website, HoosierMythsandLegends.com. Hoosier Myths and Legends is a Quigley Productions podcast.
Our theme song was written and recorded by Wet Blanket. The song title is Taxidermy Race Car.
As always, stay spooky.